I just don't know how to start these podcasts. I'm Tim Byrne, and this is Tim Byrne Almost Live. This is a podcast for property managers and construction for all over North America. Today, my interview is with Chris Blount from Filtrex HVAC and Technologies, and Anthony Vinzi from ProMain Exterior Maintenance. And these two gentlemen are sweethearts, and they've all been on my show before. Chris in 2018 did a show with me, and he didn't like what he did or how he did it. So when he got on the show this year, he said, I'm really going to try hard. I'm going to give you lots of great content. I'm going to be interactive. I'm going to be an intellect. I'm going to be articulate. I'm going to look so cool. Okay, so I'll be honest. I don't watch my show at all, ever. In 75 episodes, I don't watch the final release. And people call me and go, hey, I remember when you said blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't remember saying blah, 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 blah. But then they go, don't you watch the show? And I go, no, I don't watch the show. If I watched it, I wouldn't air it. So Chris was going to try really hard in the show. I decided to actually watch the edited version before I sent it out to you guys, because I wanted to make sure that Chris got what he wanted out of it. I watched the show and I realized that in my head during the show, a lot of kooky things were going on. I also realized that Anthony Vinzi was so caught off guard because Chris Blount was now on a real technology tangent that Anthony Vinzi couldn't interact with him because it wasn't a philosophical conversation. It wasn't about asphalt or concrete. It was about his business and how he built the web portals and the technology and the management system to execute his company. So during this episode, I chirp off a little narrative off the backside and had Danny, my editors out of Alberta, Canada, insert it into it so that you could figure out what was going on during it. So I want you to have a giggle. Pay attention to Anthony during the show, but listen to Chris. Check out my t-shirt. I am Tim Byrne. I will be on the backside. Take care. Tim Byrne. This is Tim Byrne Almost Live. I'm your Wednesday night drive home. We are down here in Denver, Colorado at the Connex conference, which used to be the Prism conference. Don't play with that.
I'm good at that.
That's what, we're only doing headshots. So they can only see your hands. Okay. They can't see your hands doing nothing. To my right is Anthony Venditti. No. No, Phil Venditti. No, it's Anthony Vinzi from ProMain Exterior Maintenance out of Toronto, Canada. And to my left is a really dear friend of mine named Chris Blount from Filtrex. From everywhere?
From everywhere.
From everywhere, right?
From everywhere.
Did you hear me say he's from everywhere? Yeah, it's because I totally forgot where he was from.
Is that too long for you?
No, it's perfect. I'm used to that.
Christopher, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And you came on last year, and we just started. So we started doing this in February 2018, and we came down to the conference in April. And at that time, from when we started in February to when we met with you here, we actually had a really tough time getting people to come on the show. And I appreciate I'm a little unorthodox.
You think?
And salty.
And salty and a little edgy.
Right.
And people had a really, really tough time. Once they've heard me a few, they were like, I don't want to be part of that. And I said, well, I'm the human experience. And you're right, there's no teleprompters. Everything we do is ad lib.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I don't think your client or your vendors want to see fake Chris.
That depends.
Your name's all over the board behind us, too.
I know,
right?
that was very nice.
Sexy.
That's very, very kind of you all.
But you've been a huge fan of the show and what and the concept and what I'm trying to do with social media, and more so than anybody else. He has not fucking helped me at all.
Really?
Nothing.
No, I don't believe that. But what I will tell you is that I find the show and the podcast entertaining. The night we were all having dinner, the first night in town, and I was sharing with Anthony that they're funny. They're entertaining, yet they're informative. You never know what 1 week to the next you're going to get, right? And then they have the charity recently, right?
Yeah. Cedar Center.
Yes.
For
and
kids.
so, yes.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when I've had a little extra stress that particular day, I'll just throw on and let this stuff run. And it's in the background. And I'll laugh, and by the time I've had about an hour and a half later after I started it, I'm laughing. I'm in a much better mood because, some of your antics. So some of it, I use it as comic relief, and some of it actually is informative. So
it's funny too because I am
so weird having something in my face like this. Maybe you're used to it, but I'm not.
Okay, so check this out. Chris complains that there's something really big in front of his face. And then if you look beside me, Anthony grabs the little microphone with his fingers. Yeah. The challenge always is you're right, to make sure that you're funny, but it's have some intellectual component to it,
Yes.
so that at least you're inspiring or
Yes.
informing or giving somebody a tip or a hint or a way to look at business differently. And the podcast, it was never meant to actually market or publicize my own companies. It was actually
Never?
No, it was
Really?
No, in spirit of what it was meant to do.
Why is Anthony smiling?
In spirit of what it
I made that up.
In spirit of what it was meant to do was to. I actually wanted to help other companies get ahead.
Right.
Because people struggle, and most of new companies don't know where to take their media, and it's really expensive to advertise.
It is.
These shows are rude, cost-wise, and so if I could open a door, and in my head I'm like, if I give somebody a chance to come on here, they'll actually innately help me market my company innately out if I let them in.
Mm-hmm.
Karma.
Karma?
So it was more of a karma show than it was a forced execution.
I can see that.
And in between all that, I need to expose myself.
Well, I think you did that on one of your episodes. I think you got in trouble for that, but you weren't completely exposed.
I did get a lot of trouble for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheryl Gray.
Well, that's actually when
hated me.
we recently have really dialed and dialed up all over social media.
You took me off your social media
Well,
because I was too
actually,
risky.
I didn't take you off. We left you on, but we weren't pushing people in your direction because some of my team members are like, he's a little salty. And I'm like, well, that's okay, but that's Tim. So you have to understand.
Is it salty or are we all just the same? And I'm the guy that's willing to
put it on the line?
Yeah.
Are you trying to push me in a direction?
Yeah, I am. You're right. Because a lot of people fake it.
Right.
And they're fake. And they're fake. Fake. Scripted fake.
That was something that was said to me last night, was that there's just so much fake here at these shows. There's a lot
of smoking mirrors.
Scripted lines, scripted presentations.
Right. Yeah. And so
everybody does it better.
Right. And, and I was just in a meeting before I came in on the podcast, and the gentleman said, I'm like, why are you here? Your brand doesn't really make a presence for these things. He's like, well, we use it as a form of, if there's an issue or concern or something that doesn't seem right in our corporate, in infrastructure, what we'll do is we'll come to these shows and just do a feeler and see and try to take from, and I think this was actually for Prism or the new Connex. Is it Connex? Connex or Connect?
Sorry, I think it's Connex.
Okay.
Connex.
I think that it's been informative. I've had a great show for our very little participation this year. We did specs. We did. We're doing Corrigo coming up.
But you did specs. You were actually in the show, or were you just I
was in the. I was in specs. We were in RIFMA. We're in Corrigo Connex. There's a few others that we're going to be participating in as we wrap up the year. So we just felt like for Filtrex that, with all of our experience with refrigeration, that this really wasn't going to be the one that we wanted to sponsor or put a booth up. And it turned out to be a really pleasant show. So now we're looking at what Connex is going to do and what they're trying to accomplish. And so we are already going to be committing and allocating money for next year's show. So it's awesome.
You're doing a lot more shows in the last few years than you ever have, whether actually a booth or just going to them.
Yes.
Why?
it also ties into what you and I were talking about last year. And to be, as I mentioned, I went back and listened to my podcast from last year. And after I hurled all over myself listening to some of my shit, I was like, God, you were nervous. You looked like you were desperate in terms of the way I interpreted what I was saying. And I just didn't like it. Didn't like the feel. It didn't need to be, it wasn't as relaxed as I wanted it to be. And so what I can say by doing that is that in that show, I said, hey, this is our coming out. Remember, welcome to Big Jesus, right? He's coming out or whatever.
I think it's fat Jesus.
We have
fat. It's fat.
We kick. Okay, great. Thank you. So sweet. Like I said, you look really healthy. Really, right? You look really healthy. So one of the things that we've done is that was our launch point. Your podcast was our launch point, which is probably why I was a little nervous. We have invested in additional software.
You say it was you though.
Filtrex, as I said in that podcast, we actually had something that we had researched and developed for a number of years that we were in the process of launching. So from new sales teams to software to social media infrastructure, we are attacking everything now. And so and now it's coming to fruition. It's the vision is now coming into play.
I'm going to sound really cliche.
Yes.
Because I've known you for a long time now, about 15 years.
Yes.
And all the ups and downs and all the ins and outs of your career.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because you're married that your career's doing better? Sorry.
No,
come on.
Okay. So Michelle, my spiritual life, just everything is just dialed in where it needs to be. I feel like it's an ESPN deal like this.
Right?
Yeah. So
right?
My life
you've
is
come together and things are better.
My life is the best it's ever been.
Good for you. God bless.
Financially,
fucking right,
Anthony. What the fuck? Anyway, it's just really wonderful, and it's good to be me.
It's fun to watch.
Well, it's interesting because so many people have said you just look different. You look a little healthier. You look a little this. You look a little that.
How about some clarity?
Well, there's some of that too.
Listen, 15 years, I've seen you up and down. I've seen you lost,
right?
Like completely lost.
Right, I have been. Yes. There was 1 year that was horrible.
Yeah.
Partnerships will do it to you. So anyway,
but right now,
I'm regaining my composure as we talk.
This last year, everything seemed to click into place.
It was a vision. It's been a long-term vision, and one of the things that I've been able to do is remove the things that didn't flow with that vision. And before, I was scared to remove personnel. I was apprehensive about other choices.
I'm going to stop you because I want to stay with your wife. I want to stay with your wife.
No, we're going to go back to that, aren't we?
We are.
Michelle's great.
Get a box of Kleenex.
I know, she's amazing.
I got remarried in this last 3 years too.
Right. Yeah, I know. We all know you kissed your wife's ass. I mean,
fucking right.
Exactly. And I'm in the same position.
But my life is tight now. I feel like I feel like my moral compass is in the right place.
Right. Oh, you're so pathetic.
Did you want me to hold those for you?
No. I'm good.
Okay, but so. How long have you and Michelle been together for?
Well, we tell our friends, I'm like, gosh, I can't believe it's been 10 years. She's like, it's only been what? And I'm like, okay, it feels like 20, So we've been together for close to 4 years.
Allie and I are the same, right? So when things started to come together, I'm going to ask bluntly, what did she give you that allowed you to get focused on who you are?
She actually has this really weird sense of people. And she's like, you need to do something about that. Or you need to remove yourself from that.
So she'll critique your crowd, critique who you're with?
Absolutely.
Quietly when you get home and I go, okay.
Yeah, like we'll come to a show and we'll get away from everybody. She's like, okay, who do you like, who you don't like? She's like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so what did she say about me?
She likes you guys. She actually likes you guys. I was surprised.
Right, because I'm waiting for
because you're the salty one, right?
Right, I am the salty one.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's what's cool about her. I mean, she's enhanced my life.
She's your best and your worst critic.
Right. Oh, yes. And we have I'm a stepdad now. So I have an 11-year-old that runs my life. So it's
do you feel like you can take, because of Michelle, do you feel like you can take more risks in your business?
No.
Okay.
No, less. And that's probably part of my fault, or that's where I've made bad mistakes in the past.
Big risks.
Is that I'd be like, oh yeah, let's just do it, and then now I'm not just worried about me. I've got other mouths to feed.
You told me, though, you're making $1 million investment into software. That's a big risk.
Yeah, it is. But
That's
you know what?
Huge.
Well, you know what? If I'd done it right before with the right people before, it wouldn't have cost $1 million. How about that one?
Yeah, I got that.
Right? So, once again, it's all about assembling as I talk with my hands and knock the microphone everywhere. Anyway, it's all about assembling the right team. It's all about making good decisions. It's all about seeing the vision, doing your research, knowing about making educated decisions versus just going, hey, it sounds like a freaking great idea. Let's do it.
I've just realized that my hands are tiny in comparison to Chris Blount's.
Did your business grow this last year?
It's growing. Percentage-wise, it's growing significantly. But once again, we have, as I talked about last year, I think it got edited out because it was just a horrible podcast. You guys did an amazing job cleaning that thing up.
So awkwardly, Chris says, you spent a lot of time and effort cleaning up that last podcast we did in 2018. And he said, you're probably going to have to spend a lot of time cleaning up this one. And I stared at the camera because I actually said to myself, how am I going to clean up his podcast and make him look like a rock star with his hands moving so much?
We've transitioned. We used to be a coil cleaning filter replacement company. We are now a full-blown HVAC, preventive maintenance, refrigeration. We are. There's the only thing different between an HVAC refrigeration service company as us is the fact that we don't do the repairs. We simply do the preventive maintenance. So, our customers, it's brutal. It's an educational process for us with our customers because our program is so unique to the industry.
I called you about cleaning some vent hoods in restaurants.
Yes.
You do that too, though, right?
No. We do not do vent hoods. No, we do not touch the vent hoods. We touch the equipment on the roof that align with the vent hoods, the squirrel cage blowers and diffusers of oil and grease and things like that nature. So we work on we change we don't work on, but we replace the belts, document everything, tag everything. We've got just a lot. It's a really neat solution.
Solid process.
It's a solid process. It's got it's got a lot of different components to it because as I talked about even last year, we're heavy into software. We're very heavy into software. We're heavy into data because that's what if you sit there and you could, as a customer or a client, you use information to make all your decisions.
Correct. Can't measure it. You can't measure it. You can't manage it.
So everything we touch is measurable. Everything we do is measurable. It's phenomenal. We feel like this solution is going to change the industry forever. It is that solid.
But you're building software. I assume you're not building it just for you then.
Incorrect.
Just for you.
We are building it for us. We already have the software that's actually physically working and doing everything that we want it to do. It's like as they say when they build software, it's like building a home. You can lay the foundation and you've done 5 or 6 remodels. Well, the foundation's not built for the 7th remodel. And if you're going to start getting in, areas that may not be so conducive for that environment. So let's build let's lay a whole new foundation. Let's take all these different modules, place them in.
Still like the kitchens. Let's put that back, right?
Now we are going to allow ourselves the ability to potentially release the software to some. And so we may, but we're actually building internally for us. Now there's QR Scan. Yep. That's the asset tracking solution that Filtrex has been using for years. That is in the process right now of a rebuild, and that's going to be entering the market for everyone.
I dabble in software as well, and I'm about $1 million. I'm about $1 million into my fucking shit as well.
No, you're a liar. That's light. That's way light.
That's Canadian.
It's Canadian. All right, it's $2 million.
Okay, that's more like 3 or 4 probably over the years.
The first thing I ask every time somebody wants to build a module or some part of the system or advance it to the next level. Today, my current sentence or my current question is, will I be able to cut headcount?
No.
And my job is, I believe when you bring technology in, whether it's the Vixos or whoever you got in here, their job is to turn to the retailer and go, I'm going to cut headcount.
Well,
is yours going to cut headcount?
no. Here's the reason.
Or just make a
why.
better customer experience?
Well, what we're doing is that better customer experience. It's something that can grow because no one in the industry's ever. There's a lot of different softwares out there, and we've had the opportunity to look at a lot of them, and a lot of the facility softwares, the HVAC softwares, the tech software.
Oh my God, there's so many.
There's a lot, and we've had to look at them. And what's crazy to me is that still they haven't even got to where we're at internally for Filtrex. So had I been really, really smart years ago, I would have built this software, done it with the right people, and sold the sucker, and had millions and millions and millions of dollars. But I was too stupid. So where we are today is that we're kind of, now there's too many. How do you, and then you got software companies.
Because how do you get payback on your $1 million if it isn't going to cut headcount?
No, it increases. You're going to increase your growth
without hiring more people. Like, there's got to be some point where you go,
absolutely.
There's got to be a payback on $1 million.
Okay, right. No. That's a fair assessment. But there comes, I could be like you and buy boats and airplanes and things like that. Do you even have a boat or an airplane? Do you have an airplane? Do you really?
No.
Okay. It's very good though. I love it. Anyway.
Okay, I actually do own an airplane and a few boats. I just don't want my ex-wife to find out. You know what ex-wives are like. Chris is an idiot. Should have never said that.
So this has been a passion project for me. And it's the same.
All right, but you got to make money out of your passion.
But true that, but it's been a vision for a long time. When I tried to do this vision 20 years ago, when we were using 3-part paper and all this kind of crap, right? And then we're taking pictures and we're burning them on CDs and we're doing all this crap, and then we're giving them to the customer and they go, oh, thanks. And they just stick it on their desk and you're crying because they have no idea how much energy was spent documenting all that. So now it's interesting because the technology's there now that you can live the vision and bring it to fruition. And so to have that fruition and get so close and not quite get it, we're really, really, really close to where we want it, but not be there just really upsets me as an owner.
I love that entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Because it's like, you know what? Why can't we do this? Why can't we provide the best possible solution, whether we're a software company or not? Period. And so our deliverables to our clients it's amazing. It's disgusting how much information. Because once again, it goes back to we want our clients to make informed decisions.
So where's the payback for you?
Business, the growth of the business. I'm sorry, I should have just been more direct.
But independently to the software is this whole massive investment.
Yeah, it is.
So you want to make sure it gets a payback independent from because your business is going to grow no matter what, as long as you're at the helm.
Our business,
software or not, your business will grow.
No, not
bullshit.
Exactly.
It's you.
No.
It's Chris Blount.
No, it's Tim Byrne.
It's Rockstar.
No, it's you doing this for me and things like that.
All right, stop it.
It's great relationships.
But entrepreneurs, for all three of us, we are our business. Our business is us, and our job is to grow our business to the point where it doesn't need us, and then we actually know when we're a success when the thing takes off and we can stand here.
Or somebody knocks at your door and wants to buy you.
Sure. Right, correct. I mean, our responsibility is to take care of that company. Right?
So your company will grow no matter what. Software or not.
Yes. Hold on.
You would survive.
You literally, we each of us have a responsibility to our companies.
Right.
It's our companies before it becomes ourselves. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the company. Our job is to make sure that company is in the best possible position to increase its sales, increase its profit, to live and
take
die.
Take care of the staff, take care of the customers.
And regardless of what happens to me, right? And then you create enough infrastructure that it operates on its own. Right, and then you get back and reap some of those rewards.
Right,
that's the idea. That's the goal. That being said, by us, doing the software, it's streamlining the internal maintenance and admin. As you grow, so for instance, if you can grow your business, right, double, triple, and your admin, you only increase by 10% each time
on a 100% increase of growth.
Right.
Yeah, so you will cut heads.
No. We just won't hire anymore. At some point in time.
But that's
you
the
stop-
same.
you stop-
It's
well,
the
no,
same
it's
math.
not.
Same math.
No, it's different.
Sure, because right now, for every $100,000 you take on, you hire a guy. Now you
Okay.
can take on $500,000, only hire one guy.
No, they won't get that. It can't get that streamlined.
Damn right it can.
Nah, I doubt. I seriously doubt it. What we've seen, we're pretty far advanced. I mean, we wanted to build a solution. When we started this, we wanted to build a solution that could run the entire entity. One solution. I think you had the same kind of vision and dream for Wendy.
I do, yeah.
Right? And then you realize, wait a minute, it just can't. It just can't have one solution. There's too much interface with other elements that are invited, are in a part of that process. So for us, it's, we're not going to cut heads. We're going to expand. We're going to create efficiencies. We're going to create not only efficiencies for us, but efficiencies for our customers and our clients. And the reality is give them all the data to make informed decisions. It allows my company to grow, no matter what business you're in, no matter what industry you're in. It allows you to, this type of any solution, and that's where the technology is pushing all of us.
Right.
It's pushing us. It's value. It's efficiencies. That's important.
How many people you got working for you now?
A lot.
How many?
A lot. I know we hired 5 in the last week and a half.
Oh.
So, I mean, we're up there.
Come on, what numbers?
No,
Come on, tell me how many. Coward. Come on, tell me. How many are we working for?
We've grown.
6?
Okay. We've got.
Hired 5 this last week.
We fired 10 and we hired 5.
Yeah.
No, anyway, we're opening up offices all the time now. I mean,
Really?
We got 5. We'll have 5 up this year. 5 new offices, branch offices, just small,
Sure.
for satellite for techs.
Okay.
We're doing some interesting things within those spaces. And then 5 more next year. And then I was sharing with someone last night. We're building the software.
How do you feel? Sorry,
Hold on.
No, stop.
Okay, you're right.
I want to talk about
Hey, it's your show.
I
You
want to
got
talk
it.
about the guys, the satellite offices.
Okay.
How do you fill those full of business? Are you giving them the business, or do they create their own, or is it a joint venture? Is it a franchise?
No.
How are you making it happen?
One of the things that we do, and we are looking at
That's
it.
a big burden.
Well, we're looking at it right now, and we say, okay, where do we look at a map. This is where our concentration is. There's all kinds of data that goes into our solutions, right? And one of the things that we're going to be doing, and we're allowing the computer, the algorithms to dictate where you start to put the locations. We haven't used that completely, solely that, but by 2020, by this year, or this time next year, the software will tell us where we're putting a branch.
This is our highest volume of calls.
Well, highest volume of calls, least amount of windshield time. Where do they stack up with suppliers in terms of making sure our technicians can get their supplies?
Cost benefit. Yeah.
So
How fast does that guy's plate get full when you go, okay, we're opening a new office, put a tech there, van?
well, what you do? Well, what
How fast do you film 44 hours?
I'll say that again.
Like you got to get them working to make money.
Well,
Like,
no, we're
and
already
it's a
working
big burden.
because right now we're doing so many different routes with our solutions. Like we have a tremendous amount of windshield time. We pay a tremendous amount of money in overtime hours to our guys.
Right. So
We know, here's an example. We know most of our guys, we're already planning. You're going to get 20 hours overtime every week. Just plan on it. They're like, what? Really? Cool.
And use that money that you pay them.
Right.
for that.
So then all of a sudden,
I got you. Okay, there
we're building the infrastructure.
So you get them up to 70, put another guy in, cut them to 30, grow that. Gotcha.
You kind of once you get all
Smart.
the numbers and all the algorithms dictate where you're dropping it, what you're doing. And then you got to worry about hiring in that market. So then the next thing becomes, okay, we're going to go to this market. This happened this year. We chose a market. We went there. We tried to advertise, get quality people. We couldn't get quality people there. Well, okay, what's the next one? Boom. It moved it 200 miles. The computer literally moved it 200 miles. So, but we're still influencing some of those decisions. But I think it's going to be freaking fantastic when we're going to be able to have a software that tells us where we got to go and where we need to go.
And what are your clients going to end up out of the software?
I'm sorry?
What do the clients get out of it? You said the clients are going to change the client experience.
Okay, how we change the client experience is simply from, as an example, data is important, as I just mentioned. It's make, model. It's just all the things that are happening to their equipment. It's recorded. It's photographed. There's certain levels of documentation that are taken based on, if in our industry, HVAC and refrigeration, there's a lot. There's just a lot of belt sizes. There's just a lot of information they have. How often do they need to be changed?
Do your clients care about that?
They do and they don't. And that's what's interesting about this.
You know the CD that the guy checked on the desk drawer that you spent all that time in?
Yeah, and that's it.
Now he's just staring at a big file in the cloud.
Yeah, Tim, you're right. But here's the thing. They don't want it until they want it. And when they want it, they want to know it's there. And then when they need to make decisions or choices, they have all that data they can go back to and look.
It's just knowing it's there.
It's knowing it's there is helpful for them.
Because we're in a disposable world now. When Ron Rao was running Limited Brands, he was like, I don't give a shit. 7 years, chuck it in the garbage, give me a new one.
Has anybody else noticed Anthony holding that black water bottle?
Well,
that was his. Sorry, I mean a little facetious.
But it was more like 10. I think it was like a 10-year plan.
Whatever. But they were like, we don't care about the maintenance.
Put some duct tape.
Run it. As soon as it starts.
Ron, we really don't mean that, just in case anybody from L Brands is listening.
He's retired.
He doesn't care, but
he's on the show.
Does.
He's on the show
He's
next.
awesome. I talked to him.
He's coming on the show next, right?
Oh, right on. Okay. Well, I talked to him. I actually wanted to talk to him about.
I just think it's a disposable world.
So it is a disposable world, but you still need to make educated decisions. So if you give them the education and you give them the information and you give them all that to make a sound, solid decision, they're going to make it.
How long should a?
And it's, by the way,
we call it HVAC.
I have my sales team. They're telling me that this is the hardest thing they've ever sold before because they have to really go in and educate the client when the client doesn't have time to be educated. You know,
did you pay them commissions? Did you pay them salary?
We pay them base and commissions.
Yeah, okay.
But the reality is that it's something that if I can walk into somebody and we were trying to see how do we package it? How do we package it better? I mean, we're doing 20 pilots this year. Our goal was 30. We're going to end up with 20. I mean, we're a little light right now, but I know we're going to hit them. So we'll hit 20 and 20 new pilots this year, which is great. And the reality is that, when you do these pilots, they're going to, once they experience it, I know we got them. I know we're going to get them.
All right, so Anthony in this particular piece is staring at his cell phone because he is bored to the end of the world, Looking at his cell phone off to the side. He looks silly Willy, can't even stay engaged. He isn't even thinking about talking on the podcast anymore. He wants to just play on his phone. He's been longer than 10 minutes looking at it. He's just like a child.
How long should a roof unit last?
Are you going to just leave it alone? Where's it located at? These are all the things that go into the algorithms.
Blah, blah, blah.
No, is it on the code? 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
Just take care of it. Do the maintenance, change the belt.
But the truth is, isn't there a point where you go, technology changed enough so there's enough power to be saved at get it out of here in 8 years and put a new unit?
Because the equipment's getting more and more expensive.
Right.
And now they come with they just like everything else, they come with more features.
Because I mean, when I do work for Walmart in Canada, they told me their stores are 11-year up, which means they go into massive renovations in between 9 to 11 years.
Okay.
And they literally check out everything and go, we're going to start again.
Well, good for them. I mean, that's a fantastic model as long as you've got the money to do that. But a lot of your clients, the ones that are across this country that we're servicing, don't have Walmart money.
And I assume they get stuck with a lot of old leases or like old space with old units. Right. Because stores move around. They move.
Right. Well, as an example, most of our marketplace now is restaurants.
Okay.
Basically more refrigeration, more HVAC, same square footage, right? So there's more items to touch. That's where we really shine for those customers. In casual dining, if you look at what is happening in the industry for the restaurants, it's not like it's on a huge uptick, right? I mean, they're having to try to manage those dollars. And so that's what's unique about our solution is that we're finding ways they're saving 20% higher. I mean,
the restaurant business must be doing better than retail hard goods.
Yes.
Right? Because people still like to go out for the experience of eating.
I would say yes.
My house is littered with Amazon boxes.
Amazon.com. Amazon is kicking it.
But Amazon isn't isn't delivering me a pizza. So
right. Not yet.
Well, no, hold on. They're on. I don't know, man. They got Whole Foods, right?
So right. Yeah, they're going to head that way.
Yeah, I go to. We're in Whole Foods all the time. So
your restaurant business is your growth area, though.
Yes,
because people still like that experience of going out and having dinner.
I think so. I mean, yes.
People are eating more and more processed food, and they don't want to cook at home.
You know what? I don't. I mean, I'm going the other direction. My wife is like organic this, organic that.
My whole life is.
Oh dear God! I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like going in like, is your fish fresh? Wild caught or farmed? It's farm. Great. I'll have
3
salad.
ounces. Right? 3 ounces. Right.
So it's just really interesting.
Where's your head office?
Tulsa now. Tulsa, Oklahoma is our head office.
Do you have administrative people anywhere else in the world?
Well, we actually have. No, we've moved. That's part of this transition. We just opened up a new admin office in Tulsa. We got the training facility there. We're expanding on that, doing a big remodel with that.
Okay, let's talk about training. You bring the guys in when you're
Oh, heck yeah. We're videotaping them. Matter of fact, what we do for our guys is that we are implementing this. We haven't done a whole lot yet, but we are going to be training on the equipment, and then all their videos of them go on to their data or their section in our software. So if they get tripped up on something, they can go in and log in and look at it. If they're on site, something's tripping them up.
Their own profile with their own videos.
Them on a piece of equipment. I mean, lots of stuff.
How much training do you do for them back in your shop? A week, a day, a month?
I personally don't do any training.
Right.
I don't want to make that a mess, right? So anyway, matter of fact, I will address that question. One of the funny things is that I have learned to not office with the team.
Say it again.
I have learned that my better days are when I am not distracting everyone in the office. Have you felt those ever?
I've been there the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, right. So I realized, like, look, let's set out our goals, and I'm going to get out of your.
Okay, it's killing me, right? You just won't let go of it. He loves that black water bottle between his legs. He is hanging on to that sucker, and now it's annoying me.
Way and let you do what we've talked about.
Right.
And then I come back. So
the problem is, as an entrepreneur, you have to sit there and wait. And watch, because your brain is moving 5,000 times faster than
they're
their
even
feet.
thinking about it, right?
And hope that they screw up fast so that they can learn from their mistakes.
Right, and keep going. Yeah,
right.
It's brutal, actually.
And so, like I said,
the watching and waiting is brutal.
The team. I'm telling you right now, I've got some winners. I'm really blessed. We're kicking ass, man.
Good for you.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a long time coming, but it's good. But
does Michelle work in the business?
No, she can't stand me.
she just consults at home.
She's got her own career. She's gone a different path in her career. That's taken off for her. So we're all good.
So how many trade shows did you do this last year? Because you do a lot now, right?
We'll do 6 this year in 2019.
Connex.
There's two. You know what?
Tell me them. Okay. Which ones do you do?
Well, here's the problem.
Tell me your favorites.
There's 2 that I committed to that I can't remember their names I feel embarrassed because if any of them see this, they're going to know it's them. They're more of a closed. It's high dollar. You go in and it's a closed session.
Oh, I like these ones. I like these ones.
Right. And it's like you do a presentation, you talk about, and you're going to have.
You get a half an hour with every guy, right? That's I know these ones in private rooms.
I've
done these ones before.
Like a Shark Tank.
Right, but exactly. But part of our model is that it's consistent or constant development. So like I was in a meeting, like the same meeting I referred earlier, we look at the data. So let's say we work with a client, let's say we provide a reduction, what if you want to call it that, save them money, whatever you want to do.
I like the way you sounded facetious when you said that.
Well, it's like everybody says to save you money. I mean, it's it's nauseating. We want to find significant reductions for our clients. So we also then analyze the data. We go back through their data. We're like, pull these reports. Every year we go through and find where we've got to enhance our program to help find ways to save them more money. So we're really, we take we're very prideful about our process because we're having to educate everyone. So
now he's two-handing it. He's two-handing the water bottle. I haven't two-handed it in years, but I'm Irish, whatever. I wish he'd stop handling the water bottle because I can't focus on Chris.
It's not like filling out 100 bids, you're going to do 50 of them.
Do you know, like a lot of companies, and I think Ron was doing this too, and a lot of them do it because they lease the equipment, right?
Okay.
Have you ever gone out and done market research and gone, how much does it cost to lease a 5-ton unit in comparison to how much it costs me to change the belts and service it? And can my servicing it less than the cost per month to pay for it?
What's it really cost?
So if it costs them, I'm going to pick numbers out of my ass. It costs them $500 a month to lease the piece of equipment. But if I can,
Did you smile for that one, Tim? I noticed you started grinning. Some camera people came by to talk, take pictures and video. Tim.
yeah, if it costs
our local celebrity.
if it costs them $500 a month to lease it, and you can service and you can get them, and now they've paid it off, and you can get them from 10 years to 15 years at $200 a month.
Okay.
Like, have you figured out the math to go?
I have not done that algorithm.
Because
I believe Linux has.
Because that would
I
show
believe all
them,
the big ones have.
Because that would have you validate your reason. I'm going to extend your equipment for 5 more years, and it's going to be cheaper than buying.
You know what? That's great. Here's what we do. We say, what's your spend? What did you spend last year? Let's look at your entire budget for HVAC and refrigeration. We're going to take that number and let's see if we can cut 20% off. This is how we're going to do it. Let's grind it out. Then we do it. Some of them, some of the numbers that we're seeing with clients, you're going to say it's too good to be true. That doesn't make sense. The information's skewed. The data's skewed. Or, you're going to sit there and go, holy shit, we need to implement something like this.
Yep. The problem I've always had with, and we do a lot of that with door maintenance because of state-of-the glass and door.
Yeah.
Right. So we do, we try to tell them about preventative maintenance in comparison to capital costs. And I sat down with a bunch of asset managers, guys that have trillions of dollars of assets. And they told me that
Trillions?
Trillions.
Yeah,
I have a couple of friends that run asset management.
I want to meet those friends.
and they described the tax benefit between capital spending and maintenance spending. And the maintenance spending comes right off their bottom line profit, and the capital spending they can amortize over 20 years.
Right.
So he said a lot of times we don't give a flying fuck about fixing it because it's coming off my bottom line.
Right.
So that pumps up my revenue to make my stockholders happier because I didn't spend on it.
Right.
Yet I can buy a new HVAC unit and capitalize it over a 20-year period.
CapEx.
And it doesn't show up in my bottom line revenue, so I don't have to be so I make higher revenue, which kind of fucks guys like you and me that do maintenance business. Tell me how.
Okay, this is why our program works, is that, as I said, we're a preventive maintenance company. We're not a repair company. Man, I think I understand why they did the CapEx budget, but here's what we do. We say how many. We look at the total budget. We look at the on-demand service calls they have. We evaluate every element of that piece. We walk in. We go through the nuts and the bolts of it, and we realize, okay, if we can reduce 15 service calls in the course of the year, and each service call is $500 on average. Right? Do the math. So what happens is that they're like, how do you do that? Well, we actually perform the SOW that we create with you. I don't want to say there are a lot of good service companies out there, but what's happened over the last 10 years is that, the way people provided PMs 10 years ago was detailed, thought out, analyzed, performed, and it was expensive. Somebody started a process where they said, hey, just give me the SOW, we'll lowball it. And they lowball. And they kept lowballing.
What's an SOW?
Okay, so at this moment, right, I'm thinking to myself, my God, Chris has a large forehead. And I'm wondering, is my forehead as big as his forehead? It's more like a 5 head than a forehead. And then he said SOW, and he must have said SOW about 6 times in this little piece. So the only way to get my focus off his forehead was to ask him to define what an SOW was. And then when he said scope of work, I had to make fun of HVAC. Americans don't say HVAC.
Scope of work. Okay. So
So you guys see HVAC.
I know it is. That is. I know. I'm sorry.
Who the fuck says HVAC? There's no HVAC. It's HVAC.
Right.
That's a Canadian. It's HVAC.
HVAC/R. What's the /R? I don't know. Maybe refrigeration. No. Anyway, so one of the things that happens is that when you do that, you got to just sit there and evaluate their spend, and they lowball, and then they're saying, yeah, we're getting a PM on 12 pieces.
The problem is their operating money becomes their profit, and that's why they cut that first.
Right.
And if you know your client well enough too, and I've done this, I do this all the time with guys. I go, are you selling your business? If they're selling their business, they don't give a shit about the PM because they're going to cut absolutely everything to the bone, rack up the revenue, so their stock goes up.
Well, yes. However, that's where the education comes in.
Right. You as a supplier, the education, ready to go. Where's my client at?
Right. I've got a client that I will.
Don't sell a vegetarian a cow.
Okay. Right. True that.
Right.
But we've gone through and We look at each account and evaluate each account. If we feel like their equipment has been neglected and they have 500 stores, they'll save $1 million in the first year with us.
And that's bottom line revenue.
That's bottom line.
That is true bottom line revenue.
I'll say to someone like Ron Rao, I'll say, Ron, how many hamburgers do you have to sell to make $1 million in net profit? That's an awful lot, right? So there you go.
I'm kicking you off the air, my friend.
I'm used to it.
Chris Blount from Filtrex, you're my rock star. I love that you supported this podcast. I really do. Michelle,
awesome.
When you're done with him, call me. I'm married. Don't call me.
Yeah,
I'm Tim Byrne. This is Tim Byrne Almost Live. I'm your Wednesday night. Be careful driving home. Thumbs up me, subscribe. Go to this man and go see him. He doesn't show my podcast on his website, but go to his website anyway. It doesn't matter.
YouTube page. We have a link for his website.
You stick your head above that foxhole because it's the only way you're going to become a hero. Isn't that right, Paint Chips? Have a good night. Take care. Paint Chips, I got to tell you, man, you're a man of many words. Chris from Filtrex, I love you. You're a passionate guy, and I'm so glad you're my friend. I'm Tim Byrne. This is Tim Byrne Almost Live for another Wednesday night. I hope you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to me. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Music, and iTunes. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I always answer my phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 416-984-9045. And just what Chris Blount does. Stick your head above that foxhole. Take a chance. It's okay. And find yourself a good woman. Have a good night.